Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Welcome to another Let's Talk College. I am Coach Lola Owokoniran, and I'm here with yours truly, my co-host.
Jummy Adeyemi.
Here we go, Jummy. Before we get into today's conversation, I want to give you a moment to say hello, blow kisses, greet everyone
Hi
joining.
everyone. Kisses. Welcome back. We took I won't say we took a short break because we did talk to students to kind of fill in the gap, but we needed some time off in the summer and we're back to get you guys prepared for the school year and to make it as successful as possible.
Awesome. Yes, we did. We all need a break every now and then, right? But we hope you enjoyed the college series we had with our students. It was very insightful, very impactful, and we got positive feedbacks.
Yeah, we did.
So, if there's any other topics that you want us to focus on to help you on your college journey, please drop it in the comment section. We're here to help you. And to everyone joining, thank you. Everyone watching, thank you, Jimmy, for always doing this with me.
Of course, I love it. I like things like this.
Thank you so much. To everyone watching, whether you're joining us you're joining us live or you're watching this back again as a replay, we are so glad you're here. Thank you so much for joining and tuning in with us for Let's Talk College. On this channel, we have practical conversations around money. Yes, we talk money, finance, wealth building, business, investing, college planning, all designed to help you make informed decisions and take intentional steps towards your future. Our mission here is very simple to empower you with all this information to build wealth, leave a legacy, and to live purposefully. So, if these are conversations that can help you, your business, your family, please take a moment to like this live, share it with anyone that comes to your heart, anyone within your circle. Follow this page, and subscribe to this channel at Coach Lola Owokoniran so you don't miss what's coming up next. Now, today we're focusing on one very important part of that journey. Let's talk college. We are helping families prepare well for college. And I want to start with something every parent, every high school student needs to hear. And please hear me clearly. The beginning of the school year is not just about new school supplies. It's not about the new outfits,
Cute bag, the
the
backpack, the
shoes.
spray ground.
There's more to it, people. There's more to it. It's not about the new schedules, all of that. This first few weeks can shape so much about what happens here thereafter. Your grades, the relationships you build along the way, the activities you choose, your college options, and so much more. Even some of the financial decisions that your family may eventually have to make. Yes, you heard me right. So if you're thinking, well, Coach Lala, Miss Jumi, we still have plenty of time to worry about college. Wait till later on. Please stay with us. This is for you because some of the smartest college decisions are made way long before any application is ever submitted. And here's the good news, you don't have to figure everything out today, but you should know what your next step is. And that's exactly what we are talking about today. The topic, back to school. Back to school, college edition, what every high school family should be doing right now, as in today. So, whether you have a freshman who is just getting started, whether you have a sophomore who is still exploring, yes, we have them, whether you have a junior who needs to become more intentional, or a senior who is officially in application season, we're going to share practical steps that you can begin taking right now. And parents, we're not leaving you behind. This conversation is for you too. The goal is not for you to take over the process. No, we don't want you as a parent to do that. It's for you to know how to partner with your child. We want you to guide them, support them, be their loudest cheerleader along the way, walk alongside them while still helping them take ownership of their journey. That's your job in that process. But before we jump right in, please tell us in the comments. Would love to hear from everyone watching. What grade is your child or your student in, or students with an S? What grade are your students or your child in today? Or if you're a student watching, what grade are you in? Are you a freshman, a sophomore, a junior, a senior? We'd love to hear from you. And if you know another family that needs this conversation, please go ahead and share this live with them. So, Jimmy, let's get into today's conversation.
Let's
Let's
do
start. Let's start with the beginning of the school year.
it.
Exciting times.
Yes, for everyone.
Let's start with that. Let's share what our students should really be focusing on during those first few weeks.
Okay.
Yep.
The first few weeks, a lot of times there's not a lot of work, a lot of assignments, tests. So I think that's a really great time to kind of learn about teacher expectations, read their syllabus to understand what the teacher's grading system is. Some teachers, you might do 100 homework and they don't grade it, right? So you need to understand that, okay, 30% of my grade is going to be test, and that teacher is going to only going to have two. Maybe they're only going to have two quizzes, right? So I really need to make sure that I'm studying and I'm prepared. Doesn't matter if they give me homework, it's not graded, right? This teacher is gonna give 20% for participation, so I need to speak up in class. This is how you learn. So it's important that you learn all of those things very early, so you're able to get all those points. The goal is to not have a zero
Mm-hmm.
in anything, right? Whether it's participation, even if you can turn. What are the expectations for late work? You shouldn't be having late work anyway, but would the teacher give me credit for it or not? Like, what are the expectations in essays? I have essays, like my son takes an online class, and like the essay is due at 11 p.m. If you're gonna wait till 10 p.m. to start thinking, oh, it's due at midnight, once it's past 11, it's late, right? So you need to know those things so you know how to kind of be successful in that class. Also, establish a consistent homework and study schedule. I always tell my kids, I don't know if they listen, but every day you come home, don't just say, oh, I have no homework and do nothing. Take 15, 20 minutes, go over everything you learned that day while it's still fresh, write down everything. Do like a memory dump and just write everything you remembered. And then if you think, okay, there's a gap, you said something I don't remember, you can go back and read your notes, right? That's a great way for you to kind of keep up with what you're learning so you don't feel like you have to cram when it's time to study. Introduce yourself to your teachers, right? Tell them about what you did over the summer. Tell them about what the goals are. I always encourage my kids to tell their teacher what their goals are. Truly, I tell my kids all the time, when you introduce yourself, tell your teacher my goal is to make it in this class. And people think that's funny, but here's the thing. Everyone has a different, like, what's great. Some kids are fine with a B, right? And if, let's say, like really close, right, and the teacher knows that's your goal and you've done everything you're supposed to do in school, you come in on time, you participate in, they may just bump you up. Like, let them know what your goals are, what your intention for that school year is, so they can partner with you to help you get there. And try to identify the classes where you need to put more attention to. There's some classes where you're like, I'm sure I'm not gonna have to study for this, or I need to. But there's some classes once you start the first year, you're like, yeah, this is gonna be a tough one, right? So maybe you need to start getting additional resources. Maybe you need to be looking on YouTube for additional resources. Maybe the teacher has a language barrier, right? Especially when you talk to a lot of STEM, there are a lot of foreign teachers sometimes, and maybe you need some additional resource. Maybe you need a tutoring, a tutor to help with that. So just establish all of those things. Try to find one or two activities. If you're a freshman, you can do more. So you figure out what your interests are. But as you kind of get into sophomore or like junior, you want to start like refining them. You don't need 10 activities at once. You want like maybe a solid 2, 3 at best, so that you can really focus, get some leadership skills, and actually have impact in those activities, and not just stacking activities just to add, and you have no impact. You're just there. You're just one of the participants. So I think those are all the things you need to do, but definitely establish a study routine early on, study daily, sleep early, y'all. Put the phones away and go to bed on time. Don't stay up till midnight. Don't stay up to 2, because that would affect your your attention span in school, like even just learning and paying attention. So I think
Yep.
those are things that every student, regardless of class, should be focusing on at the beginning of the school year.
That's so true. Thank you for sharing all of that. And when you were talking, this came to mind for me. I think the very first few weeks should be about building the foundation for the entire year,
Absolutely.
because the energy you start off the year with will determine how you end it.
Absolutely.
You know, I love the point you mentioned where you said setting a goal and sharing that with your teachers, which is very important.
Hmm.
And not just your teachers, maybe your friends, to
Hmm.
hold you accountable for that semester, for that school year. Set those goals and be realistic about them. Be
Yeah.
specific,
Yes.
the smart routine, you
Yeah.
know, be specific, make sure it's measurable, make sure it is attainable, realistic, and timely. So, and then break that one goal into mini goals. Okay, to achieve straight A's, what do you need to do every week? Set a routine and stick to it. Don't wait for the school year to happen to you, please.
Right. I always say, like, the beginning of the school year is kind of a great way to reestablish yourself,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of how good or bad you had. If you had a really bad year last year, you don't have to take that into the new school year. You had 2, 3 months to kind of figure out what kind of student you want to be, and you can show up that way. Nobody's teachers are not. I mean, like, there are some bad teachers, but most teachers want to help you. They want to partner with you. So you show up, you're ready. Some, if they have like a study sessions, you go, you really show up for them. They want to partner with you. Some of the mistakes that some kids make is already at the beginning of the year, start letting things slip up. Like, you have no business letting homework slip up this early in the game. There's hardly any. A lot of the early homeworks are gonna be easy. That's like an easy A, easy 100.
Yes.
And overcommitting to activities, you want to do it all. Like, you're gonna set yourself up for failure. You're not gonna be able to really make impact, right? Also, letting your parents manage everything, and parents will also have to take a step back. You have no, depending on the child, a high schooler, you really don't need to be telling them, have you done your homework? So
Mm-mm.
what I try to do is, because I'm one of those people that I like to know what's going on, so I just say, what are your plans for the day? I don't
Mhm.
say, have you done your homework? I'm like, oh, do you have any plans for today? And then they'll say, "Oh yeah, I did. I don't know. I did my homework and stuff like that." That's a way to kind of build conversation without like being like really like asking directly, "Have you done your homework?" Talk about things like that. "Oh, how was your class today? Did you learn anything? Are you excited about this class? You're taking how many APs this year? How are you feeling about that?" Just having those conversations so you know where they need help and where they can help you. Those are all the things I think you should discuss early on, because when
Yeah,
you wait too long, sometimes it's just really hard to get back.
it is. It really is. So, which takes us to the next, what I want us to talk about when it comes to college preparation.
Hmm.
For students or parents watching, or families generally, what can we start doing right now instead of waiting on to the senior year?
Okay. Well, that's a loaded question, right? Because it depends truly on what class the student is. So let me see. I took some notes because you sent me this. So let me open them up for you. I would
Okay.
say, as a freshman, I already talked about, like, this is a time to really figure out what your interests are. Most things that you did in middle school, if not all, you can't really use them for college applications, right?
Yep.
Unless it's something that you're continuing. For example, let's say you were doing debate in middle school and you continue it, then it makes sense. But typically, you can't use what you did in middle school. So it's a time to kind of try different things, try different activities, and see what you're interested in. That's a good thing to do. Also, again, I think really establish being a good reader. Like, people really underestimate
Yep.
how, like, being a good reader translates into really every part of your life, to be honest, even as an adult, right? But like, like, when it comes to testing and stuff, just having that reading like stamina is really important. So read daily, figure out what the activities you're interested in, and then you know try things. And then if that doesn't work, try something else. You don't really have to be set in stone on one thing as a freshman. But as you start getting into sophomore year, I think that's where you really need to start like figuring out some of your interests, right? Because by then your goal is to start trying to get some leadership
Yes.
under your belt. So by sophomore, junior year, that's something that you want to do. So, for example, start researching things that you want to do with your career, right? Because if you don't know what you want to do, it's hard to really have activities that align to that, which is really important when you're looking at some of these colleges, right? It's hard for you to say, yeah, I want to study computer science, and you've never taken a computer class, a computer science class, or you never none of your activities are in computer science, right? They would choose other people that have chosen shown interest in those fields before you. So that's why it's important that you start looking for those activities. Start doing some college prep when it comes to SAT test prep. I think by junior year you should definitely have taken that the
Mhm.
summer of junior year or by junior year, because if you wait till senior year, it gets really busy fast, and really you start applying for colleges right as soon as senior year starts, right? So
Yep.
without having those test scores, it's just really hard and it just makes senior year really difficult. So try to start doing the test preps if you have not already done that. Definitely also not just SAT, the PSAT, so test prep for PSAT and SAT, because in junior year, the PSAT score, that's the one that's official, and a lot of schools you can get free rides just based on that score. Know what your GPA is and keep up with it, and try start figuring out what the schools that you want to go to, what
Mhm.
their GPA like score is. So look at the common data set. It will show you the amount of students that they accepted, what their GPA was, their test scores. So that's something that you can strive for, because now you know what they're expecting. So definitely join the clubs as always, volunteer. Um, you have to explore summer opportunities. Summer is not just for you to be hanging out, chilling. When you're
Yeah.
applying to this, when you're filling out those college applications, they literally ask you, "What did you do the summer? Freshman year, junior year, senior year?" Like it's part of the question, and you want to be able to say something that's sustainable, like something that actually makes sense, not like, "Oh, I just played at home," and even if it's a part-time job, something that you can actually have. I think that's important. And start looking at the colleges searches. So looking at colleges, seeing how much they cost, start talking to your parents about how much they have saved for college, or if nothing, right? Because there's no point in you applying to the schools where they really you have to pay, they don't really give maybe financial aid, or they
Yep.
don't give merit, and your parents cannot afford it. Or if your parents can't, then start looking at scholarships and start applying. There's some really big ones in junior year that, like, maybe if you get it before senior year, then you can kind of frame what you apply for. And then I think that would be it for sophomore year. I think that's a good enough.
Yep.
And then by junior year, some people do the college visits.
Mhm.
I think differently about it. I think you should go to colleges to just see what kind of college you like. But there are local colleges you can go to. For example, if you're in Georgia, there's
Mhm.
Georgia State, there's UGA, there's Georgia Tech, there's Emory, there's Spelman, there's Morehouse, there's Clark Atlanta. They're
Yep.
all of the schools within like an hour from us, right? That can kind of tell you. There's Oglethorpe, there's what's it called, Agnes Scott, which is liberal arts. So there are
Mhm.
all kind of schools you can go to. Sometimes people travel all over the country going to all the schools that their children have not even been accepted to. I think, I don't know. I think like do the online, look at it online, do the online thing. And then once you get accepted, you can invest money going to all of these schools. It's
Mhm.
not cheap to fly all over, and people spend all this money. I saw somebody say they spent $12,000
Mhm.
traveling and visiting all the schools and all over the states between flights and hotels. And that's price, and that's money you could be saving for college, right? You don't even know if your child is going to get accepted. So I don't know, like, if you're traveling there, yeah, you can stop by and look at the school if you're already there. But to just
Mhm.
take an extra trip just to go and you don't even know,
Mhm.
if you can afford it, sure. But like if it's not something that you can afford, I don't think that it's necessary. You can do this college searches online. You can do the tours online. I mean, what is it called? There's so much with technology now. You don't necessarily have to
All of
be there.
that. Mhm.
So yeah, and then there are a lot of fairs. So go to local career fairs. They pop up every time.
Mhm.
Colleges are there. You can talk to them. Find out what, maybe even there are kids that like a certain school, and then they find out that the school doesn't even have the degree that they want, right? So
Mhm.
find out that if the school that you're interested in, if they even have that degree, and then it's really important that you really like dive in and really take your SAT. Obviously, you have no choice with the PSAT; you have to take it anyway. But
Yep.
SAT, definitely take it. When it comes to academics, if you haven't taken a lot of the advanced classes like APs and honors classes, you definitely want to have some under your belt in junior year. Like you, especially if you want to apply to a lot of those selective schools, you need APs. It's not just about your GPA; it's about rigor as well. And then summer, like for junior year, there's a lot of flying programs that you can start applying for out in the fall. So just keep an eye out for that. A lot of schools will fly you in. They'll pay for the flight and it's free. But it's a great way to figure out if you like those schools. And I think it gives you a leg up too when you apply to that school if you do well in the summer, the flying program. So that's helpful. And then again, just keep up with the what the colleges is. Some colleges have something called interest, so demonstrated interest. So figure out what
Mm.
those schools are and make sure that you're clicking on every email they send, you're going on their website. If they send you anything, you click on it. If they have a webinar, you go on it because they really pay attention to demonstrated interest. They want to know that you want to come to that school. And then I think that's it for junior year, really. Just keep up with your grades. Like, this is not the time to sleep. A lot of
Mm-mm.
times, if you didn't do good in freshman year, if you didn't do good in sophomore year, as long as you have an upward thread, that's good. But like if you like you did great in those 2 years and you don't do good in junior year, that's not a good sign
Mm-mm.
for those colleges, right? And then
Yep.
lastly, senior year, by fall, once Common App opens, you need to be applying. If you can do ED, if your parents can afford it,
Mm-hmm.
do it. If not, definitely apply early admission so that you know by December, at least you have one or two schools under your belt by December. And all the things that I talked about in sophomore and junior, you can still apply to senior year. One more thing though, juniors definitely need to establish relationships if you've not already done so with your teachers, right? Because you're gonna need recommendation letter from at least two
Yes.
teachers, sometimes three, and you need to establish those relationships early on. So by the end of junior year, you can ask them. So that means really doing everything you need to do in those classes, participating, showing up, letting them see you as somebody outside of what you offer in the class. This child is curious, they have academic vitality. This is a class, this is a student that every teacher want in their class. This is my favorite student I've had in 40 years. Like you want them to be able to speak of you when they write those refer recommendation letters. So that's huge for juniors. Definitely, if you don't have those relationships, you want to build that in junior year.
Mm. I hope you
That
guys were taking notes.
was
I hope you were taking notes. But those were great, great, great tips. Great tips. Great tips. Family, everyone watching us, the goal is not just getting into college. We want you to be able to find a college that fits academically, personally, and financially. As you're building that pathway, you have to take into consideration everything Jimmy shared. Admission is only one part of the decision, but the cost, the classes, your program, scholarships. Start
cost.
looking for scholarships early. Please don't wait until your senior year or until after you receive your acceptance letter. It's very, very important, you know. But please, again, the replay will be available on my YouTube channel. Make sure you go back and rewatch and take notes and start walking, start mapping out your pathway for college. Before we go into the next section of a conversation, I want to ask those watching us, to our viewers out there, what part of the college journey feels most overwhelming right now? Either you're about to, or you're thinking about it, or you're in that journey, that process right now. I'd love to hear. We'd love to hear from you on the chat, on the comment. Is it choosing a college? Does that worry you somewhat? Somewhat? Are you thinking about it? Is that a concern? You don't know where to start from? Is it scholarships? Is it financial aid? Is it the applications? Is it, man, I just don't know where to start? That could be you. And that's okay. Many of us don't know where to start on things. But when you confront and you identify what you need, then conversations like this, we can tailor it around those conversations to help you on your college journey. That's the very essence of why we go live every month on college, so that we can address those conversations to what is your need at the moment. So please, 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 would love to hear from you in the comments section. Thank you all so much for staying on. Okay, cost of college, beautiful. Financial aid, scholarships, and essay writing. We need to talk about that. That's true. I want to sidetrack a little bit, Jimmy. Um, we're family here. We're just having a conversation. So I want to talk about AI on college applications. What's your take on that?
Don't do it.
Okay. Why?
A lot of students, they catch you. And then, I mean, the thing about it is
Mhm.
you don't need to do it. Students have become really lazy. I actually just shared something with my with my boys, I think yesterday night, when I saw something about these teachers are becoming really smarter about catching people that use AI. And
Mhm.
I never want to be that parent that just assumes that, oh, my children are not doing it. They say they're not, right? But I'm like, mm. So there was this thing about this teacher that like he had whatever the question was, and then he put like a sentence in there, and it somehow he blanked it like so they couldn't see it. So if you copy and paste that paragraph into AI, whatever question you had there, if it was part of your answer, he knew that you use AI. I think he said like 95% of the kids in class did it, right? So they all failed. It's not worth it. You get a zero, you can get kicked out of school. In college, they can literally expel
That's
you
true.
from school. It's a big deal.
Mhm.
And you're so much smarter than that. Like just write the essay, start early. I don't know that it's worth the risk. I truly don't. I think you can use it to frame, you can use it for ideas.
Mhm.
Because sometimes you just need something to get you started,
Mhm.
come up with the ideas, but don't use it for your essay. And truly, I'm not even a teacher, and I can tell you an AI reading like caption. Like I'm like, ugh. Like, come on, like, did you need to use AI to write? Like, it's so easy to like. There's just a certain can. It's like it's just obvious sometimes, and even when you don't think it's obvious,
Mhm.
they can still tell, right? So it's, and I do think that even if you don't and they accuse you of it, if you
Mhm.
did the work, you can show it, right?
Yes.
And it's not worth the risk, so don't do it. Someone mentioned essay writing. That's a big part of it, but
Yes.
there's so many um tools and resources. There's one college essay guy. If you
Mhm.
don't follow him already, he has so many great examples. He has free workshops. Obviously, they like most things they want you to pay afterwards, but his free resources are good. And even he has something called, I forget the name, but like in junior year you could apply for it and you get like free essays. But there's so many great people that you can pay to help you kind of edit your essays. Teachers, college students,
Mhm.
there are programs that offer that. The college students that like maybe went to really great schools are like doing writing
Mhm.
as a degree.
Mhm.
They don't charge as much. You have your child writing, you have somebody to kind of help them guide them through the process, maybe even brainstorm. So that's something that you can definitely do. With testing, there's so much resource. Again, when it comes to English and reading, English and the reading part, you just have to read. Literally, they have to read. Encourage your child to read every day, even if it's 20, 30 minutes. I really, really cannot stand like phones and TikTok and stuff because our kids like that were such great readers, they don't like to read anymore, but they need to. They need to read. There's so many, and I can share if you want, send a message. I can share you like words that you need to learn for SAT. There are a lot of like IG pages that share all of those resources.
Mhm.
Khan Academy is a great one. If you did
Yeah.
PSAT in 10th grade, upload your results to Khan Academy and
Mhm.
it'll really tailor your test prep based on your results. So you don't, if you cannot afford to pay all these large fees, just use the free resources. There's a lot of them. The college board has some free testing on there that your child can use. The problem is these kids don't want to do it. I had to tell my child, yes, you need to wake up on Saturday and do a test prep like you're in the school. Yes, it's gonna take 4 hours. Yes, that's what it takes. you know, they don't
Yep.
want to do it, but like truly. And when you research, okay, how do you test prep? Everyone is saying the same thing. You have to take this test. So there's no other way to get better than to do it, right?
Yep.
So that's the thing. There's so many free resources. If the kids start early, they'll be
Mhm.
fine. Now, if they wait till it's too late, then they panic, and that's where like all hell breaks loose. But other than that, like there's truly so many resources that you can find, and then you can type if we're happy to share some of those resources as well. But I think the biggest thing is for me, I think is just like the unknown, and like you don't really have a lot of control. Your child can qualify for all of this. They could have the test, the grades, the score, but it's a numbers game too. They
It is.
cannot accept all the qualified kids, right? So it's like, how do we stand out?
Mhm.
And how can we afford it? And that's why for me, I'm really big on scholarship. And that's why I share a lot of what my son, because I didn't used to share a lot of those things, to be honest. Like, I couldn't care less. But like, the more I talk about it, the more I feel the need to share. Like, okay, yeah, he got another one. Why? Because he applied, right? It's not because it's this like great. I mean, he is great, but like, there's so many great kids. You just have to apply and put yourself out there. And it's really, I think once they start to see the fruits of their labor, it also encourages them. And like when you're like, oh, you don't have to pay for school, oh, you just get this check and it's yours
Yep.
to, it makes it more exciting for all parties, the parents and the children.
Yes, I agree. I agree. And thank you for sharing that, because it's one thing to talk the talk, but you don't only talk the talk, you're practicing this and we see the results. So thank you, thank you for sharing that. And if you missed the interview with her son, it's on the YouTube channel. Let's Talk College. We did a whole playlist. We had about 4 or 5 students that we interviewed last month over the summer, where they shared their experiences on their college journey, how they got to college, and what they're doing while in college to keep earning scholarships, internships. Everything is all explained out there, like real life practical stories. So we have a question in the chat. I want us to see if we can answer. And this is from Tracy Nicole. When applying for financial aid as a single mom, would the non-custodial parents' finances be taken into consideration when they won't be supporting financially?
It depends on the school.
Yep.
When you fill in FAFSA, you only need the custodial parent,
Mhm.
right? So if it's a school that only needs FAFSA, you only need that. Now, some schools, you have to look that up. They have something called CSS, which is like another financial thing, which is
Mhm.
way worse than FAFSA. They like ask for your life story. Do you have a mortgage? How much do you have in equity? How much do you have in your bank? Like they ask you how much is in your bank account. Like they're very like they ask you all the tea, and that sometimes most of the time they require the other parent. So if your child is not interested in a school that requires a CSS, and you can just search like CSS schools and it'll tell you, or look at the school your child is looking to apply to and
Mhm.
see if they require CSS. If they don't, then your FAFSA should be good enough and you should be fine with that.
Yes, thank you. So to our viewers out there, we have a college prep workshop we are putting together. If you're interested, we are yet to get your form. So please, 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 the link will be in the description section. It's also displayed on the screen. Just take a few minutes and complete the prep the form, so we know which areas and who is interested. So when we are ready to publish that information out, you'll be one of the first to get informed. We'll email that to you directly into your inbox. If that sounds like something your family would want, please fill out the interest form. Would love to know if there is real demand for this information, and we can keep you updated moving forward. Thank you all so much. Now, this next conversation is very, very, very important, because I have seen students on all spectrums of this topic. Some students sometimes think that the more activities that they get involved in, the better their college application will look.
Yeah. No.
Not necessarily, though.
No.
Not necessarily. Colleges are not simply counting clubs.
Hmm.
Um, I would rather see a student involved in meaningful, impactful, maybe three things. than superficially involved in 10 and tens of things, you know. And let's be honest, students are pressured to join everything, you know. We want to enroll them in this, in that, in that. How can they figure out which clubs, activities, sororities, all those things, the sports, volunteer opportunities, even the work, you know, the summer jobs that they need to be doing, you know, that is actually worth their time on this college applications.
Okay. So I'll say a job is always worth your time. First, you're making money. Now, let's talk about that. That could also affect finances, right? If your child is making a lot of money, and some of these kids do,
Hmm.
you may have to account for that when you're feeling faster and all of those things. But generally, I would say a job is great. People underestimate it. Looks great, you look responsible, right? Your child is working, especially if you're working for a long period of time. Some kids end up being like managers of like shifts. That's amazing as a kid, right? So it looks great and people love that. So definitely don't underestimate the power of having jobs. Have a job, right? If you have the time, you definitely want to. When it comes to activities, just really think about what you're looking to do in the future, right?
Hmm.
So if you're a child that let's say is really big on like, my youngest son is really big on like, he likes like history and policy and stuff like that, right? So a lot of the things we do are geared towards that, right? Even when he's volunteering and stuff like that, once in a while they might have other things that may look like it's not, but trust me, there's a theme going on here and it makes sense because colleges are looking for spiky kids. They call it spike. In the past they would say, well, they need well-rounded kids.
Hmm.
They're looking for a well-rounded class, but spiky kids. So what that looks like is they want the child that is big on tech. They want the child that maybe is an artist. They want the child that maybe is a dancer. They want a child that is a great writer to fill the body of the class. They don't want this one child to have all. Now, some kids can have like, and they're able to frame that where like they have two interests. So for my son, he's like econ and policy, and his thing is about trying to find ways to improve economics through policy, right? So he's able to kind of sell that story, and every activity that he has is based is tailored towards that, right? You want to have a spike because they want to be able to say like, okay, do you have leadership in this? Like, what did you do in the summer that pertain to this?
Hmm.
What are you doing? Do you have are you volunteering in this? Like, what are you giving back? Like, okay, so the interest and the strengths that you have, are you sharing it with others? Maybe your internship is it's something geared towards that as well. So it's important that whatever it is you're doing,
Hmm.
and truly you can literally search it, even if you want to be like a dancer, right? Maybe you've been dancing for so long, maybe you're now teaching little kids in pre-k, like you doing a free class for them once a week, or something like that.
Yep.
Or like you taking like an intensive in Juliet for the summer. Now hopefully it's not paid because they don't like paid to play either, because they
Hmm.
just feel like, yeah, mom and dad give you the opportunity. But there's some programs that are free, like maybe it's in that field. Or maybe like you want to be a journalist, right? And you took like this Iowa writers journalist and you submitted your essay, right? So now you have an award as a best writer, like all of those things. So you have to have awards. So whatever it is you want to do, you can truly Google activities, awards, like volunteer opportunities within like your area, right?
Hmm.
There are opportunities everywhere. You just have to search for it. And that's truly it. There's no one way to say, because there's so many paths people want to go. But everything, if you're doing computer science, for example, did you start taking a coding class? Are you taking, what are you doing? Did you learn the class and now teaching people, or did you help maybe some senior citizens in their thing set up their laptops because did you teach them how to use it? There's so many ways that you can use that to benefit other people. It's become really competitive that you have to have some kind of impact, especially when we're talking community service
Hmm.
and for scholarships. I'm telling you, a lot of the scholarships they act them talking about volunteer opportunities. How did you make impact? What have
Hmm.
you done for your community? They don't just want you to be a kid, and it's unfortunate, right? But it's not just enough to just have the GPA and the test. They really love to see kids that are doing more in their communities. And I think for me, that's been with my oldest, and I have even learned just working with him and seeing all the things he does. And he having things that he can, now he's doing data science and he's doing like some else stuff with data and these stuff that he can talk about, when he applies for the scholarship. So you have to have things that you can talk about that are just more than you talking about yourself, you
Sure.
know.
Sure. That's good. Thank you. Um, Now, this one might step on a few toes. Now, as we're going on, if you have any questions, please feel free to drop it in the chat. And I'm just putting it out there. This next question. Parents, I'm sorry, but I need to ask this. I'm also a parent.
Oh God.
Um, we're all parents on this live here. But if you're a student, we're on your side. Okay, we're helping you here. So we've established earlier in this conversation that parents have to partner with our students, with your child, on your college journey. What does that look like for, because you've been through that process with your first son,
Yeah.
and you're still on that journey.
Yeah.
So parents in that journey, or upcoming parents that are, about to start that process, how can they support their students without being so hands-on, or monitoring and controlling, or like their project managers, kind of,
Yeah.
they can enjoy the process, because it should be fun.
Yeah.
It really should
I
be fun.
I'm sorry. I think it's important that you know your child. Some children don't need all of that. Some parents just like to be in control. Like you have to know your child. Some children don't need all of that. You have to look for the patterns. Some kids require more, and then again, stepping on toes. If you have a 15, 16, 17 year old and you're still asking some of those questions, then you have to kind of self-reflect and say, what am I doing wrong? Right? Because now where they're gonna go to college, are you gonna be calling them saying, did you do your homework? Did you turn that in? Right? So it's this is a time for self-reflection and saying, okay, maybe I need to do things differently. But definitely look for patterns, right? In
Mhm.
like this, their habits, their sleep, like when they come back from school. It's not like I always say, oh, what classes? I'm big on what classes because my son changes. Like, what classes do you have today? Because I know the classes that he enjoys. I said, oh, that was great. And then if he's excited, I keep it going. If he's like, then I just gotta leave him alone and have the conversation later. But I think I would say the most important thing is to have a pattern, but not where it's like overbearing.
Mhm.
For me, half of the things I do when it comes to my children, they don't know. Do I look at my son's grades? Absolutely. Like
Mhm.
about once a week, I check and just say, let me see what those grades are looking like. Okay, good. I'm not gonna tell him that, oh, this. A lot of times they're excited, right? If they're doing good, they'll share with you. Oh, mom, did you see that I got this? Da, da, da. I'm like, oh, that's great. I'll pretend like I haven't seen it. Like, boy, I saw that as soon as I put it in the thing. But like I don't tell him. But you definitely, I think it's important that parents look. I've heard people say, well, I don't look. It's not my, if you don't look, by the time you look a month from now and they're so far behind, you
Late.
can you can't help them. So it's important that you look. They don't need to know that you're looking. Obviously, if you see something that you need to address, then you tell them. But if there's nothing to be addressed, just leave it alone. But definitely check. I say at least once every 2 weeks, you should be looking to see what your children are doing. Are there any missed assignments? Some teachers, most teachers, I never hear from my kids' teachers. I mean, he's a junior. They're not gonna tell your child is missing. They'll probably just put it in the thing, and the child knows, but the child may not tell you. So it's important that you look. I say I do once a week. I do that with everything in my life: credit cards, bank accounts, everything. That's me. But if you need to do maybe once every 2 weeks, look at their grades, see what they're doing, see if they need help. This is the time where for me it's like, okay, the child is at an A+, maybe they're going towards A-, then maybe you can say, hey, what do you think about this? Again, there's nothing wrong with A-. Now I'm not saying there is, but let's say you see like, okay, they're trying to the 90, and then right now they're 89. Okay, hey, you're at 89, what can you do to get it back up to the 90 and stuff like that? That's where you have those conversations, and don't make it a thing where it feels like, oh, here's another thing she's talking about. Just make it really light,
Mhm.
but still let them know that you're engaged and you're looking, because it's important. I think you need to know before there's a problem. If you don't start this establishing these patterns and conversations, then when there's a problem, everyone is just checked out and nobody like they don't know, they don't want to talk to you. You're upset, and everyone is just upset. So I think set that timelines. My child knows that mom pays attention. I don't think he knows to what extent, but he definitely knows that he cannot have a missed assignment. for 2 weeks and he's just sitting there. Like it's
Mhm.
not gonna happen because he knows I'm looking. So maybe that's why he doesn't have missed assignments because he knows somebody's checking, right?
Mhm.
Um, Definitely, I always say grades. I always tell my kid, if you, as long as you're, I see you trying your best, right?
Mhm.
I see you coming home, you studying, you
Mhm.
paying attention, you're actually putting effort. Then
Yep.
it doesn't matter what your grades are, and I truly mean that. Like, if the child is giving their best,
Mhm.
then I would say, do you need tutoring? Do we need to get a tutor? And it's like, no, I got it. I think I just need to talk to the teacher, or maybe this is how the teacher grades. It shows a 20, but she grades it after
Mhm.
every assignment, and that's it's gonna look like that for the rest of the school year until we
Mhm.
get to the end, right? So
Mhm.
talk about those things with your child, so you're not stressing them. Oh my God, I see you having it's not truly an F, mom. She grades each thing, and then it kind of it changes as she grades them. Talk about, it's not just about your grades, it's about your character. There are other ways you can shine beside your grades. Some kids are not going to be A students. That's okay, you know. But what else are they doing to really show up for themselves, be a good student, be a good steward in the classroom, be a
Mhm.
good helper? All of those things matter, sometimes better than the grades. Also support them by not doing the work for them. I've never been a fan of sitting there with my kids, maybe because I don't like to do that anyway. I'm kind of like a lazy parent in a way, to be honest. I know people don't believe that, but I don't want to sit there and work with you and do five. Like, I can't be bothered. I need you to do it. I will check the work, but I don't want to sit there. And you shouldn't be doing that. When you have a high school student, you really should not be sitting there with them and doing the work. Now you can say, when you finish, I'd love to read it. I actually love to read my kids' essays. I think he's a brilliant writer. I love to read it. And sometimes I'll say, let me read it. Oh my God, I think I'm gonna submit this. You should submit this for like an essay award. I think it's really
Mhm.
great. Even if they get nothing, I just built his confidence. Like, I'm like my children's biggest cheerleader. I'm like, Jason, this is like an award-winning essay, like for real, seriously. Like, it's so dope. And just that small thing, it just builds their confidence. Knowing things about them, it helps you just see them, read their thoughts, you know how they think, and then you
Mhm.
can have conversations with them. So I say, stay on top of them, but not like
Bearing.
the overbearing way. Whatever the pattern is, do that. Sometimes you may need to, when I would say as a senior, I had a one-on-one with my son once a week. It wasn't boarding school anyway. Every Sunday at 12, we
Mhm.
met to talk about, okay, what are you doing? Have you submitted this essay? Like, how are we looking here? Do you need help? This, because I found that I was harassing the kid every time. Like, hey, da, da, da. And he's like, Mom, how you
Well,
doing? So we had to form a pattern. Like, okay, every Sunday for an hour, we'll just talk about college, see where we are,
yeah.
this, have you heard from this coaches? Because he was also going
Mhm.
through the recruiting thing, which was another layer. So we just had a pattern, and that worked really great. He knew what to expect, and I knew what to expect. And really, that helped our relationship, because until then, it was kind of like, ooh, you're
Mm.
doing too much. I'm like, you're not responding. I don't know what's going on. You want to do this on your own, but you're not
Mhm.
keeping me in the loop. So just establishing something that worked for both of us was really helpful. And sometimes that's what you need. But I definitely think at this age, they should be in charge of a lot of those things, not you.
So
Another thing. No, go ahead.
before you jump to another point, I have a follow-up question there because how would you handle checking grades for college students? Because I've seen instances where the child wasn't doing too well,
Yeah.
but, in
The parents,
college,
they
they
literally failed. They're flocked out. Yeah.
yeah. So if your child is not coming home and presenting you their grades or being honest about the grades,
Yeah.
how can you check behind them? You know, what's your thought on that?
I think that's why when we talk about a lot of those things, I always emphasize relationship building as well.
True.
Because the truth about it is, if you're at this point where your child cannot talk to you and say,
Mhm.
Mom, I'm really having a hard time, I'm failing, and like, again, that's bigger than just grades, right? And so by the time your child gets to that place where they're in college, you should have established a relationship where they can talk to you.
Okay.
And look, we laugh about everything. People think my child be like, Ma, that test, I just pray for me. I know it was so bad. And I'll be like, oh my God, Jay, like, did you not study? He's like, Ma, I studied. I don't know what happened, but I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna talk to the teacher. Like, you have to make things light. Like, it's not the end of the world at the end of the day. But even if I'm like, like burning up inside. Like, why would you say that to me? But I'm not gonna say that to him. I'm just gonna be like, oh my god, Jay, like seriously. And then he's like, but I'm good. It's gonna be okay. I'm gonna talk to the teacher. I already signed up for whatever, whatever, and we're
Yes.
gonna be fine, right? But like, I don't know. I'm not overreacting in that moment, even if I want to. And they figure it out, right?
Mhm.
Also, there's something called FERPA, FERPA. When your child is going to school, it's important that you have all those things anyway, because those is an adult now. She's an adult now. They're not gonna tell you anything when it comes to their health thing, HIPAA. You have to sign all those things. And
Yes.
if you and your child sign that, you can see it. True, to be honest. I mean, I don't know. When they're in college, there's a level of
Mm.
my children and I. We've established like, look, as long as they have over 3.5, I'm happy because for me, I've figured out that those are the best scholarships ask for, the best internships. Some will say three, some will say 3.3. Make like some the highest I've seen that they really ask for is 3.5. I think
Yes.
maybe one like J Street asked for 3.75. But if you have a 3.5 and up, you're good, So it's like
Mhm.
that's a few B's, maybe even C's. So it's like it's really not that difficult. But I think establishing those keeping like your relationship early on, this is a time to form it. So like when they go to college, they're able
Yes.
to really be honest with you and say, maybe I thought I wanted to do pre-med, maybe I thought I wanted to engineering, and it's kicking my butt and I don't think I want to continue this. They can have those honest conversations with you. I think that's really important because I mean we can't keep like
Mm-mm.
we can't keep doing this in
Mm.
like they're 20 and 22 and 23. Like
Yes.
how long are we gonna keep doing this for? I
No.
I stay in the know, but again, it's not until it's like again, I'm just like that. I'm just nosy, but I definitely don't tell my kid that. Oh my god, I saw this grade. Like I would never do that because he's an adult, and he'll be like, "Why are you looking?" But
Yep.
I know because we talk about it, and I know the classes is excited about, and the classes is not excited about. So I would say like build the relationships and tell them they can talk to you about it. So it's important, so you can help them through the process if they're struggling, because it does happen. Kids literally flunk. They stay in school,
Yes.
stay in school, they
Yes.
flunk, they go back. So now some will even go back, knowing their
Yes.
position and not tell not
Mm.
tell the parents. And like
Mhm.
you spent all this money, all this time, and there's nothing to show for it.
Mm.
And those grades carry on. So
It-
even if they go back to community college to start all over, they still have to share those grades to other schools. So it's not worth it. So definitely build those relationships so that you can help them and they can talk, they can be honest with you.
yes. It's very important. Very, very important. As parents, we should be their guide, not the driver.
Yeah.
You know, you want to bridge that gap with your child, so they're comfortable to come to you, or build a community around them. I know for you, Jimmy, you have students that open up to you about what they're going through with their classes, as an auntie,
Yeah.
and you help them through that journey. So let's make sure that we are we have an open communication with our kids. But before we wrap up, I don't I want us to talk about this. If you could give every high school student just
Mhm.
three things to do this week.
Oh, this week. Okay.
This week, the school
Okay.
has started for a few counties. And if school has not started off for you yet, hey, take notes for your students. And if you're students, take notes. Just for this week, to set themselves up for a great school year,
Okay.
and for future college planning. I want you to kind of highlight three things for a high schooler and who's in senior year, and
Mhm.
then also for a college freshman
Okay.
starting school. Because
Okay.
this week,
They're gonna be similar.
yeah, okay. So go ahead.
I would say the first one is go and look at the syllabus for all syllabi or whatever for
Mhm,
all your classes.
mhm.
So actually read them. Go over everything and put all the important dates in your calendar.
Yes, get
So
organized.
get organized quickly. Um, Meet your teacher.
Yes.
So a lot of the teachers will have study how hours, teach something where they go, and a lot of times people go there when they need help, but go there just to meet with the teacher and introduce yourself. You'll be surprised how much free game you get. Some teachers will even give you the test.
True.
I mean, because they have nothing to do. They're like, oh, you're here. They'll go over the test with you, you know, and it just builds a relationship, right? Go, so
Yes.
go
Yes.
introduce yourself to the teacher. Go to office hours,
Mhm.
and just get to know the teacher. Those are important. Those are the teachers that you're going to be asking for recommendation letter. Even in college, they still ask, some of the scholarships still ask for recommendation letters.
True.
So it's definitely important. If you're in college, go to the career student office, the career office, and introduce yourself as well. Let them know, and let's say whatever your degree is, look for like a professor or like a head in that department, and schedule a meeting with them
Mhm.
and let them know what your goals are. That was how
Yep.
my son got his first internship in school.
Mm.
So I didn't tell him this, but I learned that from him. So, but it's important that you do that. Go to office, go to the office, build a relationship with them. Go to career service
Mm.
and tell them, I'm a new student. I'm looking for internship in the spring if you're not ready now, because sometimes you just have to find your way in fall. But like, I'm really looking in spring. Go to the professors and talk to them and the dean of whatever it is you want to do, and get to know them as a
Yes.
college. Now, on the other side, as a senior, schedule a meeting with your counselor.
Mhm.
Schedule a meeting with counselor, and then just talk about some of the things you're working on. The schools, talk about, maybe she has to give a rec letter, get advice from them. Tell her that you are looking for scholarships because you need that to pay for college. So any scholarships that she has on her table, she should please share with you. Those those counselors always have a lot of things that they know that you can apply for, and they don't always share with everyone. I can't
True.
even tell you how many things Jason is last year his counselor shared with him, because he had those conversations with her, and
Mm.
she shared it. And at the end of the school year, after we got an email from like his teacher, some like just like, oh, congratulations, you finished this class in the summer, because it took a summer class, and they copied me. I was like, ooh, opportunities. So I replied all, and I said, I'm so proud of you, Jason. And then I said, I know Jason would not like this, but I think it's important you all know how hard he worked this summer. And I listed everything he did this summer. I talked about his internship. I talked about this. And they all came back, oh my God, I can't believe you had so much time for this. Da, 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 da. I just little give them a little ding to add to his thing. These kids are not always gonna do that, but they gave me the front. I was like, oh, I'm taking this and running with it. I was like, yep. I replied all. So it's important. And even if nobody's sending your parents email, you can do that. Let them
Mhm.
know what you did this summer. Oh, I traveled to this country. I raised this much money. I did this internship. Guess what? When it's time for them to write a letter about you, they know all these things about you. Because
Yep.
a lot of times they only know what you do in school. They
Mhm.
would not have known about summer internship. They would not have known that I volunteered with this. They would not have known all that. So how can they speak on what they don't know?
True.
So I think it's important that like you do that, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you
Mm.
don't say like, "Oh, I just want to tell you." There's gonna once you build those relationships, there will be an opportunity to share those things, right?
Yep.
Once an email and they reply with something, then you can
Yeah.
say, "Oh, I forgot to mention I did this over the summer, and I'm looking for other opportunities just like that." So there are
Yeah.
ways that you can do it to where they see that, and I can bet you anything, if anything comes across that lady's thing this year again, she's gonna send it to her,
Yep. You
right?
planted the seed.
Exactly. So you got to put yourself out there. Okay. It's kind of like when we're looking out for jobs, we do the
Mhm.
same. We ask for referrals. It's the same thing. They have so many students. They're not thinking about you. I'm
At
sorry
all.
to say. So if you're not in their face, they're not going to think about you.
It's true. It's true. Man, this has been great. This
Do
has been great. This has been great. This has
you
been
have any
great.
more questions?
No, no,
Okay.
no. But we have great feedbacks on upcoming conversations that we need to be having,
Okay.
all around testing, financial aid, essay writing, scholarships. If you follow us on social media, we do post scholarships on our Instagram, TikTok as well. So every now and then, if we have any information, if you follow both of us, our handles are on the screen. You can always stay informed of any scholarship or internship opportunities that are out there, that we know about. So stay connected, stay connected, stay connected. Again, the college prep form will be in the description section as well as on the comment as well. Take a minute to complete the form. This has been such an important conversation. I wish we could stay on longer, but we're gonna continue. We're gonna continue. And if there's one message I hope everyone takes away from tonight, it is this: you don't have to know it all or figure everything out today, but you should not wait until senior year or the last few months to graduate before you start thinking about your college journey or planning the pathway about it. So please, please, please go back and rewatch, share this with your students, your child, your family and friends, anyone within your circle, just to make that college journey, to simplify it for them. It should be fun. It should be easy if they go through the steps. You want to be successful, but you also have to put in the work.
Mhm.
You have to put in the work. You have to put in the time. College preparation happens one decision at a time, one semester at a time, 1 month, 1 week at a time, one conversation at a time. Okay, so let's make sure that we are staying connected, we are planning, we are accountable, and having open communications between ourselves, the counselors, the advisors. Stay connected with us on this platform so we can help you on your journey. Students, please take ownership of your journey as well.
Please.
Please, please own it. Own it. Enjoy it.
We have a lot of work to do already. We don't have time for this.
Yes. And our parents, please partner with them. Stay involved, ask questions. Jimmy shared a lot of tips on how an experience and insights on how to approach these conversations. But know your child and know what works best for your child. Provide the guidance. Don't be the driver. Don't be the aggressive type. Don't be the imposing one. But and help them, connect them to the right person that can help them on that journey, but give them room to grow. Give them the room to grow. Please remember, the goal is not simply to get an acceptance letter. That is not just the goal. The college journey continues even while in college. Keep applying for scholarships. Keep connected to all the resources on campus. You paid for it. You earned it. From the career service to the sessions with the professors, everything, the free activities. Take take advantage of it. We want our students to find opportunities and connect to that, things that make sense for them on their journey, academically, personally, financially. So because getting into college is exciting and it should be fun, being able to afford the journey is also very important. We
Mhm.
really, really want our students to graduate debt free.
Amen.
Debt. Amen to that. Now, if this conversation helped you, please like this video, share it with another student, family, friend, co-worker, anyone in your circle that came to mind during this conversation, and subscribe. Subscribe and follow so you don't miss our upcoming Let's Talk conversations on all about money, wealth building. And follow at Coach Lola Owokoniran. Jummy's handles also Love Life Max. Follow us for more practical conversations
I
around.
don't post anything like this on there though, to be honest. You're just gonna
Oh,
see
you,
me at
you
a
post
concert or something.
you post your son's success
I did
story.
post that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know that. You want to say you're not just practicing what you preach. You're not just talking about it. You're also
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm just being transparent because if you come there, like, you're just gonna see
practicing,
me
but they'll
eating
see
food.
the stories of your sons, how they're actually practicing these things and it's working for them, which is
Yeah.
why I'm so glad that we're able to do this together, because it's one thing for us to teach, but most importantly when we can relate and connect to practical
Yeah.
practical stories, which is what I love so much about the what do you call it, the program we had this summer where we had the
The
privilege.
college students edition. Yeah, that was I really
Yes.
enjoyed that.
Yes, that really made us sorry, I'm going to share the link. That really gave us practical stories,
Yeah.
on how not just hearing it from us, but seeing that it works. the
Yeah.
internships, the conversations with their employers, the conversations they've had with their professors,
Mm-hmm.
the conversations they've had with their counselors, how
Mm-hmm.
they got those opportunities
Yeah.
over coffee.
Coffee chats.
Coffee chat, yes. So if you want to hear more about that, after we drop off, I'm gonna go ahead and put the link to that series as well. I'll put it in the description section so you can go back and watch the replay. It's all out there, and hopefully we can also get more testimonials in the coming months. So please keep us in your prayers. We're doing this. We're doing this together. We're doing this together, and we love you all. We love you all. I think that's about it. Jimmy, you have any final thoughts?
No, well, thank you, of
What?
course, for watching. I wanted to just speak back on recently over the summer. There was this whole thing about like Howard letting 500
Oh,
students
yes.
go, and
So
when it came down to it, right, there was one student in particular that I followed because I was really invested in this, and she was like she took a train from Ohio to Howard because and they finally reinstated her. When she came back, guess what this girl said? She
oh,
said she misread a financial aid packet. She thought she had a free ride. But after all is said and done, she still owed $45,000 for the year. That means she got about 20 something thousand. And she
oh,
said, I'm going to work two full-time jobs and a part-time job because she's still at Howard and she's I don't know what it and then I think her name was like I don't let me not put her name on there. But I'm really following this closely. But I just want to say again what we talked about. You can get into the schools, and some schools maybe they're more difficult, but you have to be able to pay for it. I am really curious to see how this girl is going to get through 4 years of college, having to come up with $45,000, and she's really serious about getting all these jobs. And I'm like, you're not even gonna enjoy school. Like two full-time jobs and a part-time job. She broke it down. If I get, and she's gonna do a GoFundMe. But like,
yes, I've seen that too.
it's
GoFundMe.
important
Yes.
that we really stay on top of these things. We're not leaving financial aspect to our kids because why
Mhm,
would you not know that you owe 45,000?
mhm,
That's not something that you should have omitted. So that's why I'm really big on this because I know how expensive these schools are. These schools are not cheap,
yeah,
and
mhm,
so yeah, very few people are gonna be lucky to get full ride. That's just the truth. I know when our kids were growing up, they're all smart. It's like, oh, you're gonna get full ride. Full rides are not as popular as people think. So it's
mhm.
really, really important that we do everything that we can to set these kids up. Because it's really disheartening to see these kids work so hard and don't have a lot of options or like have this really big balance that nobody can pay for.
True.
Yeah.
Please, the adults in the room, please lead those money conversations. Have them before it's too late. Um, don't sweep it under the carpet. Don't ignore it. It's a big elephant in the room
Yeah.
that is showing up every dinner conversation. If you don't address it now, it's gonna come back and bite you 4 years after.
Hmm.
So let's make sure that we are leading those conversations. If they're not talking about it, ask about it. How do they plan to pay for it? What is the plan? What is the plan? So this has been great. I believe we're going to come back and there'll
Hmm.
be more conversations around college planning. Again, thank you all for your feedback. Thank you for your inputs. Thank you for your comments. Jimmy, we had fun today. We had fun today. This was good. This is good. Thank you all so much. And we're going to
Yeah.
stop here. Yes. Until next time, please, please, please continue asking questions. Ask the questions. Research. Continue preparing. And remember, plan, plan, plan. Apply, apply, apply. The goal is to graduate debt free, and successful with the right path for your child, whether it's in career, college, life after college. Success is the key. So thank you all so much, and until next time,
Until next
we'll
time.
see you.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, everyone. Thank you all so much. Thank you all so much. Thank you all so much. It's been great. Bye. We'll see you on the next Let's Talk College.